Absolutely. So let's talk about the morning buzz.
Yeah.
You know, the first story with the Arcadia firefighter Mike Hernandez, who's been missing since Friday. That is just such a hard story because, you know, he was backpacking with a friend. He's a trained firefighter, in shape, and they haven't been able to find him since Friday. And people are just starting to wonder, you know, what's the likely scenario?
I mean, and it is very strange, especially, you know, you're talking about a fireman who's trained in handling rugged terrain, and he's probably involved in a lot of rescues in areas similar to that. So, I mean, you want to hope for the best, but it's a little sketchy, I would say.
Well, you know, they have had sightings of his dog Duke, and that's,
I believe they found him, right?
Well, I think he's escaped twice, so they have had sightings, but they were saying that they wanted to play a harmonica because he either loves it or hates it, but he does howl to it. So hopefully, you know, if he hears that, they'd be able to find him. So he's been able to survive. We don't know about Mike, you know, if he's injured or what's happening. He is trained, but when he left, he was in barefoot, in a t-shirt.
Yeah, not exactly like outfitted to handle that kind of stuff. Exactly.
But they are saying, you know, the good news is that there is plenty of water in that area. There's plenty of streams, and the weather hasn't been too extreme. So,
and you got to hope that he is resourceful and drawing back on his training.
Absolutely, we're gonna hope for the best.
Hope for the best,
that,
exactly.
You know, he's tough enough to withstand anything that he's going through.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you next about the McDade Settlement.
Yes.
That was a story you really followed a lot with.
That's kind of how I broke into this whole news thing.
Absolutely,
yeah.
The officer-involved shooting with Kendric McDade.
Exactly.
And what do you think about the settlements that have been reached with his parents?
Well, it was a tragedy, no doubt. Anya Slaughter and Kenneth McDade are still dealing with right now. The settlement, I mean, you hope for, you know, whatever reason, it does offer a little bit of a respite from it. I mean, you can't replace their loss, I mean, especially with everything that's been going on with the story. But, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know if you could look at it as victory, but a little bit of a respite I would hope for
and
them.
Honestly, I think that's the only thing, because if I have to be honest, you know, for as long as this story has played out in the public, and, you know, there's just been so much outrage of you know, calling for civilian oversight and finding out about these officer-involved shootings with the Pasadena police, I honestly thought that they were going to get more of a settlement. I mean, I know it's about over $1 million split between the two parents. I know Anya Slaughter, his mom got $850,000. Dad got $187,000, $500. But I really thought it was going to be more for
especially
this
if you take into account legal fees, and this happened back in 2012. Here we are, 2014, so 2 years later. So I'm sure the bills have stacked up.
Yeah, and they are paying their own legal fees.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that it's been brought up so much discussion, but I kind of expected more.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The other story, you know, I think everyone's a little pooped out about the San Marino mayor who did eventually resign this week.
Yeah, it was coming down for him, though.
Well, you know, you wouldn't think a story like that would take a mayor down, but I think it's just that there was so much heat with the community. I did talk to the city manager, John
With the
Schaefer.
viral video, too. I mean, you have a viral video attached to something, it's going to catch on,
yeah,
chances are.
You know, I mentioned Poopgate, and he was like, why did you mention that word? I thought we were
I'm sure he
wouldn't
wouldn't find that too favorable, but yeah.
Neighbor didn't want to talk about it either. He's like, I'm happy, but let's move on.
He's washing his hands of it.
Yeah, well, that is our morning buzz for today.